because how can I say, I'm learning that I'm starting to love you.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Talking to you guys today about Khafani and dealing with Denice and the fact that she told Khafani that she loved him, while meanwhile saying that she loved also, or starting to love, Anthony. Let's get into it, but before we do, if you're new to the channel, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification uploads, and for those of you who are returnees, well, you got the minerals, you got the minerals, you got the minerals. So yes, crazy. So dealing with obviously Khafani and dealing with Denice, I think what was really interesting about this scenario is the fact that we got to hear from Denice her passionate plea where she says, you know, I was starting to feel and I was starting to love you. And we see Khafani's reaction when he hears this. Oh, damn. Right? He's in a pickle. And the reason why he's in a pickle is because he's now in a place where he can't come out clean. I keep saying this. Oftentimes when men, when they enter situationships with women, you know, they do not want the emotions of that woman to fester. And the reason why is because if your emotions fester, you're going to make this ugly to exit. You're going to make this unclean to exit. But if I don't evoke your emotions, I can leave the process virtually unharmed and with little or no harm to you as well. Okay, which is why men often try to leave one night stands and stuff like that so that there's no emotions attached. Get in, get out quick as possible, right? But in this particular scenario, Denice and Khafani have been building a relationship or some sort of, connection in that particular time as well, right? Not enough for her to say we're breaking up, but enough for them to obviously feel that they know each other in a certain light, right? So if you look at the beginning of the conversation, we see her and Khafani talking, and she wants to establish how he feels. And the reason why I believe she did that is because she felt like he was not where she was anymore, right? I've said this is like battleships. In battleships, you try to establish where the other person stands. And when I say PEW, you guys know, when I say position, expectation, wants, it's about establishing where you...
Because of our vibe. It's fun, then it can get romantic, then it can get fun romantic. I just want to know, how you feeling though, for real?
You stand. Because where you stand will let me know how I should stand in relation to you. So the fact that Denice likes him, she needs to make sure that he's also in the I like you box. Nothing wrong with it. In fact, it should be something that we all do. It should be something that we all should be looking to do, like to establish it. We saw the conversation with Adriana and Rashid, and we saw how when he asked her a direct question, she went into verbal gymnastics, okay? She went into schoolastics, which is basically you are not going to tell the absolute truth. You're going to maneuver the question, which is a simple yes or no, into a gray area answer. We don't need a gray area answer. We need a straightforward answer. It's yes or no. Okay. So when she asked him about, I want to know how you feel, at this point in time, Khafani does decide in some shape or form to come clean and say, hey, look, I ain't going to lie to you. I'll be real with you. I'm no longer in that same place. You're not my top. Okay. In recent weeks, what has happened is that Adriana has become my top. Now, here's the thing. I said this about Jay. I'm going to say it about Khafani. And this is not just guys alone. Women do this too. You're not honest. You're transparent. I'll say it again. You're not honest. You're transparent. And it's a clear difference. The difference here is that transparency is when somebody asks you a question and you answer it honestly. Honesty is you do it proactively and come forth to the person. Now, Khafani seemingly said obviously they speak every single day, but she's obviously unaware that she's no longer number one. Now, she probably knows this simply by his behavior, but hasn't...
In any area.
Okay. So you pick Adriana without having a conversation with me about the whole situation?
What do you mean?
Heard that from his lips. And I'm not inclined to disagree with that because he further reiterated whilst there that, yes, you've always been my number one, etc., etc. But in recent weeks or in recent time, he said, oh, you have been. Yeah, he uses tenses of past tense. You have been in recent times.
Had been my number one the whole time.
Okay.
Until just as of recently, that's where, like, Adriana came in and we just got a little closer.
Yeah, which illustrates that he's no longer in that same position, but also because that means she shifted from her position. She's no longer in pole. But he went on to say that Adriana has now become the pole leader. But had he let her know that, I don't really know 100% sure, 100%, but I'm inclined to believe Denice on this point because we don't really see it in the other shows. I don't remember recalling having a conversation and having that said. Now, it might have been done, and the edit's looking mad, but from what we've seen from the edits, I don't think we've ever seen him say outrightly that Adriana is number one to Denice, and that's a key thing. Does he have to say that though? That's a question we have to ask though. Does he have to say that? Would anybody else say someone else is their number one, number two? Now we know Rashida's asks Adriana. Okay, we have seen the jostle of power between Joy and Winter, or should I say Winter jostling for power in terms of Jay asking for kisses. But does the person have to say you're my number one, number two? Right now we heard strictly dickly from Winter. It was not nice to hear that you're number two. We hear from Denise's own mouth too. It's not nice to hear you're number two.
Just as a woman, to hear that you second best, it's like our vibe was a slap in the face.
I knew that kind of hurt her feelings, but I felt like honesty was the best thing to do.
Therefore, should I tell you that Adriana's now in pole? You know, if it's not nice to hear that you're number two, should I let you know you're now my number two? Should I let you know? I know you've got me in your top, but do I have to let you know you're my number two now? Because it's going to hurt number one, number two as well. There is truth in this. Sometimes there's no need for truth in the sense of the fact that it doesn't serve the purpose it needs to, right? In this particular instance, it is a game, it's a competition. Truth is subjective in some shape or form, right? But I mean, would we expect him to tell her right now? You know, I know they had a great conversation at the spa or the kind of massage therapy that happened in the last episode, where he explained he had some concerns about Denice. And she did say that obviously, I didn't know we had this conversation. And he said, we have had this conversation. Which is why I'm also inclined to say I can't say that Khafani's lying too, because in that episode, the last episode, where he said, obviously, we have discussed some of the concerns that I have for you, and we saw it on tape, he has discussed it with her. She was like, I don't remember having that conversation almost. And it's like, no, sis, he did let you know that there were triggers for him. Now, he may not put it in exact words of they are triggers, but he did let you know there were some concerns. This is not the first time we've heard these concerns. He said his concerns on 2 or 3 times. But we haven't necessarily seen him say Adriana is his number one to her. So I can see both of their points, and I can see why both of them could be a little bit frustrated by this particular conversation, because even when she said it, I can see that he was like, but we talk every day. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? But he didn't say, obviously, I told you this before. He said, we talk every single day. That isn't actually a direct answer to the particular query at hand.
About the whole situation?
What do you mean with that having a comment?
No, I'm asking. Like,
We talk every day. What do you mean?
okay, I'm just.
Have you said it? Yes. I've told you that you're not number one anymore at the moment. But what I think he has told her is his concerns. And maybe he's trying to make that assumption that you should have clocked the two, but that's not really a thing you can bridge the gap. I'm honest with you, you can't bridge concerns with you're now number two. Like, nah. Like, do you know what I mean? I have to assume that. I can't go on and say that is definitely the truth because you haven't told me that. So again, I feel her frustration. I know she's frustrated. I can understand that. I can understand why she feels a certain type of way. I can understand why she may feel like she's been robbed a little bit because, like I said, you've given your heart over to him, right? And you know, when obviously he was even telling her about the Adriana's taking the lead, you know, I know she was so hurt. You can tell because her body language was like, oh, okay, really? Like she was hurt by this, and again, it's understandable when you've given your heart to somebody emotionally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and you form those intimate bonds. It is very painful when someone decides to unweave themselves from the situation or unlocks themselves from the situation, because you yourself have committed silently, right? And so when the person breaks those ties, or at least doesn't show you the same concern that you have, it's painful. It's very, very painful. No one can deny that. No one can say that's not the truth. And so obviously when then her comment that comes out, and I think this is a very pivotal point, the comment that comes out that talks about how she feels that in fact, before we even get there, he makes a comment. She asks him about can you see her as a mother of your kids, right? Now, this is mirroring a parallel question to what was asked or what was said by him in the spa date that they had, a little massage date they had, because he mentioned about the fact that he needs a woman that's going to be a good mother to his kids. So when she's asking him this question, she asks him, "Do you think Adriana will be a..."
You can see her being a potential mother of your kids?
Thinks that Adriana won't be a good role model for for the mother role, but he took a little pause, which means he probably hasn't fully thought about this question, which for me then tells me that you haven't fully thought about the future, and maybe you're really thinking about just now. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing now, so I don't know, but I'm saying in that moment, I don't know if he really thought about the full future in terms of maybe the motherhood situation. I think it was about now. I think it was about the moment. I think it was about this competition and really just kind of grinding out towards the end. I don't know if he really thought about the future with Adriana being a mum to his kids. I don't know, because that pause was like it caught him off guard, and the question wasn't really caught off guard because they mentioned it last week. This is something they spoke about, so this is not something that is new to them. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, I was like, oh, okay, maybe he hasn't really thought about that far, and maybe he also had to say that because it was a cop block. if he says that Adriana, he can't see Adriana being the mother of his kids, she'd be like, so why are you going forward for him then? You know what I mean? Like, why are you going forward for her then? If you can't see her as the mother of your kids, why are you going forward then? Right? So maybe to stop that kind of conversation flow going on, that was kind of said. No, maybe that was it as well. But I really hope that, circling back to the fact that I really hope that when she told him that she loved him, she really meant it. Now, I'm inclined to believe her, but when she's starting to feel like she's going to love him, I also have to be fair and say, well, because it's not implausible that she would tell him that I'm kind of loving you, feeling you, because you are starting to pull away. It's not implausible. And the reason why I say it's not implausible is simply because during the conversation they had on the couch later on, my girl's obviously telling him that, she's starting to feel for Anthony. Now,
we had a relationship.
I'm starting to love Anthony, I am. It's just a different vibe,
I guess.
We'll discuss that and how quickly and speedy that can happen. But the fact of the matter, she admitted that she's only said that to get a reaction out of him. Therefore, it's not implausible that you would tell him that you're kind of feeling him and love him simply so that he would stay with you. It's almost like when the girl says, I'm pregnant, and it's not pregnant because she wants to keep you. It's the entrapment, right? So it's not implausible. So I have to also leave that open. I'm leaning more to the fact that she genuinely means that, and she genuinely meant she felt love for him. But I have to also be very open to the fact that she could also be strategizing, because even Winter picked up on the strategy. She's like, oh, hold on a minute. Why did Denice say she broke up with Khafani and Ting and Ting and
someone's psyche? But maybe Denise's decision to tell Khafani that she loves Anthony,
because at the end of the day, like, I didn't need to know. Number one, she didn't need to know that, Winter, and number two, all of a sudden now you're kind of loving Anthony, and she used the word I'm starting to feel and love Anthony, and it's like, that's not authentic. No, it's like, I see these comments and I'm like, listen, people all act a fool. Like I've told you, I bar everybody. Like, Khafani's got my heat, Denice is getting my heat, everyone gets my heat. But one of the things, like, that's not authentic for you to say that you and you said it to Winter. So here we go. Look, I want you to understand this. She didn't just say this to Khafani now to get him to feel a certain way. She now started saying, I'm starting to love Anthony, to also Winter, to cause a situation there, to get her to back off.
Today,
you broke up with him?
I said, you are a great guy, but I'm starting to love Anthony.
right? She didn't admit to that, but that's why you said it, right? Because you don't actually mean it. Because the only reason why you said it is to get at Khafani, right? It's not true. You actually only feel for Khafani. So the fact that you mentioned that you broke up with Khafani, and then also you feel a certain type of way towards Anthony, or you love Anthony, and then you mention that to Winter. Come on. That's that. You know what I mean? Is that authentic? I think that's a game plan, and I say game plan in the sense of the fact that we all do it. We all get emotional. We all get hurt. We all got and sometimes we have to learn how to fight better. Okay, I think this has been a long time since Denice has had to fight, for affection like that. So so she's fighting. You know what I mean? She's fighting for the affection. And again, I'm not barring her. I'm merely just saying that this behavior, some of it is problematic, and this is why Khafani will not want to engage. Now, I told you guys this from the jump. I said, I know already Khafani and Denice won't really work because of her energy. It's just like the attitude is bad vibes at the moment. Do you know what I mean? It's bad vibes for him and the way that he is. So going to that conversation when they go on the couch, watch Khafani's body language. It's quintessential, and it's so essential to finding out just how much he cares. He comes in and goes, oh, baby D.
We had a relationship.
I'm starting to love Anthony. I am. It's just a different vibe,
I guess.
It's just it's
all relaxed and chill, no problem. Sits on the couch, slanted in the chair, hand behind the head, relaxed after eating food. He probably just wants to relax, right? But what's interesting is that his body language never changes. Why is that a problem? The problem is that she tells him some very quintessential information. She says, listen, basically, I'm starting to love Anthony. At that point, shouldn't his body language change?
Impression we had a relationship.
I'm starting to love Anthony. I am. It's just a different vibe,
I guess.
It's just it's there.
He just starts laughing. Why? Because we don't care. I'll say it again. We don't care. He doesn't care. He's over it. I'll be honest with you, it's over it. Hence why he went on to say, you know what, it doesn't even matter because it makes it easier for me to move on now. We don't care. She was really hoping for a reaction. She was almost doing what, people do, like, I want to make my partner jealous so that, they love me more. And really the reason why someone does you making someone jealous, okay, is simply because, there's oftentimes, not all the time, oftentimes it's insecurity. You want to feel that person cling onto you because it makes you feel safe. You need to have that kind of behavior happen in order to feel like you're loved. That's an insecurity, trust me. Right? It's toxic behavior, dysfunctionality. You know how I go. So she implements that in the conversation, but when she starts it, all the way throughout the conversation, Khafani does not change his body position one bit. Doesn't sit up, doesn't move. He's nonchalant. He don't care. Now, someone might say maybe it's a food. I would say maybe it is a food. But when information gets important, we change our body language. This is what he did when she told him that she's feeling that she loves him. What happened to him? He respired. He was like, F. And body language changed. There was a change in movement because it got hot in here. So the fact that obviously she rose the temperature in the room on the second conversation, but he didn't move, speaks volumes. And I'm sure she picked up on it. So when, obviously, what was really interesting, that she mentioned the fact that, she's had some spiritual clarity in the spiritual realm, and that, she's got some of her answers that she needs. And it almost sounded like, when the Christians say, listen, you're my wife, God told me. That's what it felt like when she was telling me that.
I've had certain moments of clarity on the spiritual realm. And I've asked for one sign.
When she was telling, obviously saying that, Anthony, is now the person that she's focusing her energy on. She got her answers and everything like that. It's Anthony who she's going to be, more focused on, basically. And I was like, sis, that sounds like, when the people say, God told me you're my wife. God told me that you're my husband. Do you know what I mean? The Lord told me. That's what it felt a little bit like. You know what I mean? But hey, I'm not here to knock anybody's spiritual practices. What I'm saying is, there was a lot that those things that were said there were all for effect, and we have to really question it. What makes you think that Khafani is going to take it seriously? That 1 minute you're saying that you love me, and the next minute you don't love me. You love somebody else. All right. What makes you think I'm not going to think that you're moving mad? What's gonna make you think I'm not gonna think that you're moving absolutely bonkers when you tell me that you're caring and starting to feel love for me, and then now all of a sudden, now you're feeling Anthony? That's not gonna make me draw nearer to you. That's not gonna make me want to come closer to you. That's not gonna make me want you. You feel what I'm saying? That's not gonna make me. That's gonna make me. If I'm a sensible male, I got my head screwed on, I know what I'm about. That's gonna make me want to walk away. That's gonna make me want to go like, yo, this chick is just trying to move mad. Like, I'm not on it. So when she said that, I was like, what sis, what response are you looking for? Why would you even tell him? And added to that, the fact that she said, obviously, we gotta break up. I was like, but break up where? We are not together. Darling, we are not together. Get it in your head. We are not together.
We gotta break up.
Okay. I was never under the impression
We've never been together. We are still trying to get to know each other. Like, everybody here is not together, Anthony. But she didn't have to say it like we have to break up. We don't need to. You know, that's why he started laughing. It's like, break up. It's like, but we're not breaking up though, because we were never together. Like, do you know what I mean? And so all of this is all a part, and that again is all a part of the possessive energy I'm talking about, which men do not like. Oh, we gotta break up, but we were never together. So now you're kind of bringing that possessive energy into even saying things that weren't true, like break up. Like, you may have been saying it as a joke, but remember, obviously, the fact that the perception has been built already, that the possessiveness, the jealousy, and now we're saying we're gonna break up. My guy is gonna be fed up. My guy is gonna be fed up. Any guy, forget Khafani, will be fed up after a while because they can't deal with that. Nobody wants CCTV in their home. Okay, when they haven't asked for it. Nobody wants FBI agent in their home. Nobody wants a sleeper cell in their home. You understand? We don't want CIA in our room. Do you understand? Nobody wants MI6 in their room. They don't want to sleep with a spy. Okay? All right? This is not James Bond. Okay? The spy who loves me. I don't want you to be spying on me to find out what I'm about. In that regard. You know what I'm saying? I don't want a possessive girlfriend. I don't want someone who's going to be looking for my phone and, you know, looking for my emails to make sure, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, being mad territorial when other girls come along and then suddenly you're telling them, listen, back up. Mind your business, that's all. Mind your business, that's all. If you watch Will Smith, you know what I'm talking about. We don't want to see that, bro. It's not cute for us. Do you understand? So, all of that to say, like, when obviously she then says, obviously, I do feel like I'm loving Khafani, Anthony, and she said that for effect. That's the nail in the coffin. And we can't defend that. I already said it. I don't defend Khafani at certain points. You can't defend that. You can't defend that. Saying to him that you're starting to like another guy, if they're boys at all, he's gonna snitch. He's gonna be so serious. Like, I mean, if we're boys, I'm gonna snitch. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know. Let us know your thoughts, guys, down below. What did you guys think of that particular scene? Let us know your kind of thoughts going ahead. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded.